Today's video is the continuation of a series where I bring attention to players who get less recognition than they deserve. It can be superstar players or quality role players, as long as it's a player who general audiences could learn about. Hopefully, with this series, you'll gain a greater understanding and appreciation of many players from basketball history. I'm starting off by going in alphabetical order of the players' last names. So let me know in the comments who are some players that you would like to see in this series. Also, assuming this series does well, I would be very happy to go through the alphabet several times, seeing how there's so many players to learn about. So if you'd like to see more, please make sure to like and comment to help the video. So without further ado, let's get into it. Richie Garen. This 6'4" shooting guard is a New York Knicks legend who played in the NBA from 1957 to 1970. Despite starting his career during the NBA's infancy, he had some skills that were way ahead of his time, as he had a quality handle, a lightning-quick first step, and had a great change of pace ability. During his prime, this guy was a walking bucket, and in the 1961-62 season, he averaged nearly 30 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, while hitting 44% of his shots. Simply put, he was one of the most explosive offensive players that you've never heard about. Like on December 11th, 1959, when he dropped 57 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists on 58% shooting. He's a Hall of Famer who made 6 All-Star teams, and his legacy is certainly worth preserving. Tim Hardaway. This guy had one of the filthiest handles in basketball history, as he had some tremendous skills and backed it up as one of the most aggressive trash talkers in the entire league. This 6-foot point guard was a dangerous two-way threat, as he could score in bunches while being one of the best facilitators in the entire league. The best years of his career were in Golden State and Miami, and in that time he made 5 All-Star teams and 5 All-NBA teams. At his individual best in 1992 as a member of the Run TMC Warriors, he averaged 23 points, 10 assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals on 46% shooting from the field, as he finished 8th overall in the MVP voting. He even got as high as 4th in the MVP voting in 1997 as a member of the Miami Heat. He also loved to shoot the 3-ball, as he was usually among the league leaders in attempts per game. He's definitely a tier below the greatest point guards in NBA history, but on any given night, he could be the best player on the court. Ron Harper. He's one of those unique players who's most famously remembered for a part of his career that was outside of his prime, which was obviously during his 3-championship stint as the Bulls' starting point guard. But before that, he was actually a solid 2-guard who was leaned upon heavily offensively. Standing at 6'6", he was a solid jump shooter who could slash and finish above the rim. His best seasons individually were on the Clippers and Cavaliers, and arguably his best season was his rookie year in Cleveland, where he played all 82 games and averaged 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2.5 steals on 45% shooting. Percy Hawkins. This 6'8" small forward was simply a dynamic superstar. He started his career in the ABA and won the league MVP in his rookie season, as he efficiently averaged 27 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists, while leading the Pittsburgh Pipers to the ABA championship, in what was one of the most impressive rookie campaigns in sports history. In his second season, he was the MVP runner-up, as he averaged 30, 11, and 4. But what about his basketball skills specifically? Well, Hawkins was a fantastic mid-range shooter, and he was utterly dangerous around the rim. He was similar to Julius Erving and George Gervin in the way he glided through the air, had tremendous body control, and had a filthy finger roll. He was also extremely similar to Michael Jordan, from the standpoint that he had ridiculously huge hands, which he often used to throw defenders off with his one-handed ball fakes. In total, he made 6 All-Star teams, mostly for the Phoenix Suns, on his way to the Basketball Hall of Fame. Percy Hawkins. This 6'3" 2-guard was one of the best supporting stars throughout his career. He moved around quite a bit throughout his playing days, but his individual best was in his early years in Philadelphia, where he was an NBA All-Star in 1991, as he averaged 22, 4, and 4 on 47% shooting. He was also an elite three-point shooter, as he hit nearly 40% of his attempts throughout his career. Most famously, he played for the Seattle Supersonics in 1996, who made it all the way to the NBA Finals. He was a starter and a major scorer for that group, but for some reason, people always act like Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp were the only stars on that squad. Craig Hodges. He's one of the great yet forgotten role-playing teammates of Michael Jordan's career, as Hodges was a member of the Bulls between 1988 and 1992. To put it simply, Hodges was a spot-up shooting assassin and was one of the greatest three-point shooters in NBA history. He's tied with Larry Bird for the most three-point contests won with a total of 3, and he still holds the record for the most consecutive shots made in the history of that contest, as he made 19 straight in 1991. And the closest to that feat is Steph Curry in 2015 with a streak of just 13. During the actual games, Hodges was a 40% three-point shooter and led the league in three-point efficiency twice, getting as high as a whopping 49.1% in 1988. He'd certainly be a household name if he played in this modern NBA. Allan Houston. Longtime Knicks fans remember this guy quite well. Houston was a 6'6" shooting guard who could light up the scoreboard in a short amount of time. In his prime for the Knicks, he was one of the most efficient shooting guards in the entire league, both from the free throw line and from three-point range. He was also a volume three-point shooter who hit over 40% of his attempts throughout his career. He was the team's top overall scorer during their NBA Finals run in 1999, and he made 2 All-Star teams as a guy who was averaging around 20 points per game. And that was during some of the lowest scoring seasons in NBA history. Dan Issel. He was a 6'9" center/power forward, who was very aggressive about getting to the rim. But when he happened to settle on the perimeter, he was one of the best jump shooters the league had to offer. He played in both the ABA and the NBA, and especially in his early years, he was a monster statistically. He led the ABA in scoring in his rookie season in 1971, as he averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 assists on 48% shooting. After his move to the NBA, he went on to be a star player for the Denver Nuggets. He has quite the stacked resume, as he was a 7-time All-Star, the Rookie of the Year winner, the 1975 ABA champion, won the All-Star Game MVP in 1972, has a scoring title, and is a Basketball Hall of Famer. So now it's your turn. Who is a player who should be included in this series? I look forward to hearing your suggestions in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always. Make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.